of the internet. How are you doing today? My name is Jackie and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is going to be the start of another reading vlog. This is a themed reading vlog and an idea that I have been thinking about for honestly the last 2 years. In this vlog, I am going to be reading books that were recommended in my comment section by some of my subscribers. These are all books that you guys came into my comment section and told me to read. So I'm finally gonna listen to you all and read them. Hopefully, I like your recommendations. So what am I going to be reading in this video today? I've been keeping an eye on my comment section for recommendations for years now, and I tried to pick 3 books that weren't all extremely similar, just to give some variety for the vlog. First book, which I've actually already started, was recommended by Sophie 2 years ago. So I'm sorry it took me so long to read your recommendation, but that's Finley Donovan is Killing It by Elle Cosimano. I think that's how you say her name. And this is a very popular, fun mystery book following Finley Donovan, a recently divorced mom and author who is accidentally mistaken for a hit woman. Hijinks and mystery ensue. Now, this is a book that Sophie recommended to me, and honestly, I didn't have this on my TBR because while I heard so much praise for this first book, I did see more mixed or negative reviews for the sequels. So that's why I didn't pick this up myself. Obviously though, like, if I really like the first book, but people tell me the sequels aren't as good, I don't have to read them, obviously. So we're gonna see how this one goes. Now, the second recommendation is another very popular booktube book. And the reason that this one wasn't on my TBR is because even though I heard so many people give it 5 stars, nobody really explained what the book is about. And to be honest, even now, as I'm about to read it, I don't know what it's about. But this is The Last House on Needless Street by Katrina Ward. And this was recommended by Manny in the comments of my video where I ranked thriller tropes, mystery thriller tropes. And Manny said that based on what I said in that video, I might like this book. So I'm intrigued to see, okay, which one of those tropes is gonna be in this book? I do have some theories, but we'll see. Honestly, even right now, as I hold this book in my hand, I don't know what it's about. I know there's a cat in it, and I love cats. I'm not sure if it's a mystery or suspense. This review says it's a horror novel, but I don't really read horror novels, so I'm intrigued. I have no idea what this is about, but I know so many people on BookTube loved it, and apparently it's gonna have a trope that I'm gonna like. So we'll see. I honestly don't know what I'm in for. And the last book that I'm going to read in this vlog is going to be a historical mystery. You guys have given me a lot of historical mystery recommendations, so it was really hard to pick just one to read in the vlog. But I'm going to be reading A Murder in Time by Julie McElwain, which was recommended to me by Kemi from Violet Pages. I have this on hold on Libby, so I will be reading the ebook in this vlog. This is a historical murder mystery, the first in a series, and the main character is, I believe, a modern-day FBI agent. I could be wrong about that. And she is transported back in time to the 1800s in Scotland, where she ends up having to solve a murder. So it sounds kind of like Kelly Armstrong's historical mystery books, though these ones actually came before hers, and they're set, I think, in more so the Regency time instead of the Victorian era. So going to read that for the vlog as well. I'm excited for this video and hopefully I'm going to like the books, but just letting you guys know, even if I don't like the books, I'm still really grateful that you recommended these to me. Thank you. So please don't have your feelings hurt if I don't rate your recommendation 5 stars. I still love you. I love all of you. So Finley Donovan is Killing It is the first book that I'm going to read in this vlog. Like I said, I already started it during my recent long weekend in Hilton Head. I'm, I think, over 100 pages in so far, and I don't know, like, I'm not loving it. Right now I'm thinking it's probably going to be somewhere in the 3 range, because I definitely think it's engaging, and the writing on a line level I think is pretty decent. You know, it's not like one of those books where you picked it up and you're like, oh, the writing in this is not working for me. I think some of the author's creative choices are not really working for me, if that makes sense. So I think it's just a preference thing. It's not necessarily like she did anything wrong. It's just my subjective opinion. Because this book is meant to be very zany, over the top, unrealistic murder hijinks. And the thing is, I'm personally just not loving it because Finley and her decisions, the author means for them to be funny, but for me personally, they're just more so causing me stress. Where she makes choices and I'm like, girl, what are you doing? Like, come on. And so I think, you know, other people could maybe read this and laugh at it and be like, oh my God, this is so zany and funny. But for me, I'm just stressing. I'm just burying my face in my hands. I'm like, Finley, what are you doing, sweetheart? So just my subjective opinion, I don't know if what she's going for is gonna work for me. I mean, literally, when the book begins, Finley's daughter has cut off all her hair and Finley wraps duct tape around her head. Like, and maybe other people would find that funny or relatable, but I'm like, why would you put duct tape on your daughter's head? You're gonna scalp her. So I just think maybe what she's going for in her humor is not really gonna work for me. But I think actually the book, I can see why people like it. I don't think it's written badly. I think it just may not be the type of thing that I love. So we'll have to see how the story continues. But that is it for this intro and where I am at currently with my first book. So we will talk again soon once I have finished it, and I'll let you know my final rating. Hello, so since we last spoke, I have finished Finley Donovan is Killing It. And I think ultimately I'm going to give this a 3 because I understand why other people liked it, but ultimately I think it just wasn't for me, and I totally recognize that is just my personal preference. I don't think the book was actively bad. It was just a little too over the top for me. And granted, I think the author was going for that over-the-top, zany feel, but it just didn't vibe with me personally. It also bothered me a little bit that a lot of the things that happened in this book were very coincidental, and I don't think in a mystery you can have coincidence be that much of the plot, because it just feels awfully convenient and the suspension of disbelief is a little too high in my opinion, but that's just me. I know a lot of people really loved this book. I think the issue for me was maybe other people found Finley's antics humorous, but to me they were just stressful. Like, they weren't fun for me. Minor spoiler, there was one point where the moment that Finley started writing a book based on what was going on in her life, I knew immediately that was going to end up with her agent, right? I thought she was going to send it to the agent by accident, but no, she did it on purpose. Why on earth would you send your literary agent a book that you're writing about a real life crime that you're involved in? Finley just makes so many bad life choices, and maybe other people read this and were like, oh, Finley, look at her and all her antics, but I was just like shaking my head, you know? So it just wasn't funny for me, but obviously humor is very subjective, and I don't think the book was written terribly on a line level, so I do understand why other people enjoyed this. I thought it was okay. I'm not gonna read the sequel, but like, I'm not mad that I read it or anything. So thank you for the recommendation. And then, since I finished Finley Donovan, I started reading The Last House on Needless Street by Katrina Ward. I said that I had no idea what this book was about. And even now that I've started reading it, I still don't really know what I'm reading. Like, ooh, oh my God. Well, that was bad. Anyways, wow. So what I've read in the book so far is we're meeting this man named Ted, who is like a very eccentric, is that a fair word to use, character? He's kind of a recluse and he lives on Needless Street. He's very much a loner type, and really the only relationships that he has is with his daughter, Lauren, who seems like she has some behavioral issues, and his cat, Olivia. And the cat also gets a point of view. So we are reading chapters from the cat's perspective. And there is also a storyline involving a girl who disappeared, I think they said 11 years ago. And we'll see how that ties into everything. But I'm still confused about what I'm reading so far. I don't know where exactly the author is going with this. So far, this kind of vaguely reminds me of We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson, because it just has that same, like, creepy, unsettling feeling, and I'm like not really sure where the story is going. So it kind of vaguely reminds me of that. And I didn't totally love that book. I kind of just didn't get the hype about it. So we'll see what I think about this. I have a theory on why, Manny, you recommended this to me based on, there was something that I said in that video that you commented on, and I think I now know why you recommended this to me. That is so vague, but obviously I don't want to potentially spoil the book. So I'll just say that I think I know why you recommended this to me, but we'll see if I'm right. So my first reading update for this book, I started it. I don't know what's happening, but I'm gonna continue, and we're gonna see if I'm right on my little theory. Hello again. So last night I finished reading The Last House on Needless Street, and I think tentatively I'm gonna rate this a 3.5, because to be honest with you, for like the beginning of the book, I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know what I was reading. I wasn't super engrossed, but I did like how things came together in the end. I thought that was quite well done. I totally know why Manny recommended this to me. It was the thing that I thought it was, but it was executed in a way I didn't expect. Oh, look at me trying to be vague. So it did go in the direction that I thought it was going to go, but not exactly how I predicted. I mean, I think the way everything came together in the end was really well done. I just am not a huge horror girly, so I was a little bit bored and confused in the beginning. And I think maybe if I was just a different type of reader, I would have liked this even more than I did. But I do think like it was a well executed book, and I enjoyed the thing that it did, which I can't tell you because it's a spoiler. I said before I read this that I really had no idea what it was about, and I think that's because this is a really hard book to review without spoiling it. So I'm trying my best here. It did give me that kind of eerie, unsettling, weird vibes as We Have Always Lived in the Castle, which I referenced earlier, saying it reminded me of that, but I liked this more than I liked that. So I still have one more book that I want to read for this vlog, but I'm going to take a pause because a book that I placed on hold at the library like 6 or more months ago finally is ready for me. So I'm gonna take a pause to go read that, and then I'm gonna come back to this vlog to read the final subscriber recommendation. Hello, so The Fury by Alex Michaelides, which honestly, I didn't like that much. I'm back now, and I have started reading A Murder in Time by Julie McElwain. This is the first in the Kendra Donovan series. I'm not sure if the series is still ongoing or if it's finished up. Looking on Goodreads, this first book, sorry, my cat just brushed my leg to tell me that she wants dinner. That's why I laughed in the middle of my sentence. The first book was published in 2016 and the most recent book in 2023. So I'm not sure if there's going to be more books in it or not. But so the Kendra Donovan series is a historical time travel mystery series, and the main character, Kendra Donovan, is a modern day FBI agent who ends up traveling back in time to 1815, where she ends up solving murders in the past while also seemingly finding love with a Regency era nobleman, possibly. I am now 21% of the way through the ebook. Don't laugh at me for using this Merry Christmas bag when it's September. It's my mom's bag. I read 21%, and to be honest with you, I was not really vibing with the beginning of the book because I don't think Kendra actually travels back in time until, I want to say, chapter 7. And I found the setup at the beginning, establishing her career at the FBI, frankly, pretty boring. So I'm hoping that things will pick up now that she's actually gone back in time. Still, there was backstory about this criminal that she was trying to catch while she's working for the FBI, and, you know, a bit of a plot line in the present timeline. But as of right now, there hasn't been a murder in the 1815 timeline yet, which I'm assuming there is going to be, and she's going to have to solve it. There was a pretty creepy prologue, so I'm guessing it's going to be something related to that prologue, because obviously that's going to have to be relevant to the story at some point, but we'll see. So far, I got up to the part where Kendra just went back in time and everyone in 1815 is alive. So hoping that it's going to pick up now and things will get more interesting for me. Hello everybody, Jackie here to wrap up this vlog. So last night I finished reading A Murder in Time by Julie McElwain. I'm gonna give this a 3-star. I feel like I don't have any really profound comments about this book because I didn't have any major issues with it, but I also can't say that I was super invested in the story. I didn't have any major problems with it, but I also just wasn't super immersed and feeling motivated to like read it every night, you know? It's not like I was feeling super excited to see what was gonna happen next. This book also, I don't think I realized how long it was because I had it as an ebook, but Goodreads says that it is 498 pages, which is so long for a mystery. I do think that there probably could have been some things cut out, like for instance, the earlier chapters about Kendra at the FBI that I personally didn't find that interesting. I think it probably could have been trimmed down a little bit to be a tighter story. But I don't necessarily have any like major complaints either. I think, you know, I just wasn't personally that invested in the story, and that's a totally subjective thing. So I probably won't continue the series, but I'm not mad that I read this or anything like that. So those are all the books that I read for this Reading My Subscribers Recommendations vlog. Thank you to Sophie, Manny, and Kemi for their recommendations. And thank you to all of you who have left book recommendations in my comments or just commented on my videos in general. It is very much appreciated. I didn't find any new favorites in this vlog, but I hope that it was still fun to watch. I had fun filming it. I do love to do a themed reading vlog now and again. If you are still here watching this video, why don't you let me know in the comment section if you've read any of these books or you have any other book recommendations for me. You never know, I might just end up reading your recommendation in a future vlog. Additionally, if you want to show your support but you don't know what to comment, why don't you comment that 2 heart emoji down below? Please give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more from me. I post new videos every Wednesday and Sunday. You can find my social media links in the description if you want to follow me on Tumblr, Instagram, or be my friend on Goodreads. I think that is about it for today's video, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye, and I'll see you in the next one.